And so Chamomile's harrowing journey continued, seeking refuge in even harsher places. They fled north. They crossed row upon row of mountains, forded fetid swamps, and scaled frozen cliffs. Till finally, Chamomile's tiny team arrived in a world of snow. A frigid wasteland of driving blizzards. It's cold. Yuck. My nose is running and it's freezing. Isn't this one lonely place? See how deep the snow is? I haven't seen any other Pokémon for a while either. Maybe we're all alone here. Oh, what's the matter? What's that? What was that? It looked like a Pokémon, but... Did I imagine that? No, I don't think so. I'm sure there was somebody there. I wonder what they were doing in this lonely place. I guess thinking about it won't help us. We should keep moving. Oh? Chamomile, look! See that? Those trees are frozen. Wow. The snow is like frozen powder. It looks pretty, but it must be harsh there. Okay, we don't have a choice. We have to get through this place. It will be horribly cold. I'd rather not go if I didn't have to. But hiding out in this area isn't the answer either. We can only go forward. We'll just have to keep our spirits up and keep going, Chamomile. Welcome back to more Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. Last time, we did the impossible scaling Mount Blaze, but Team ACT must not be far behind. This time, after fleeing to the frigid north, we know where we must go. It's terribly cold, Chamomile, but we got this. First of all, gonna organize inventory space a little more. That fight against Moltres drained our inventory and drained it well. When pressing on, there's a fork in the road once again. Same deal with the snow path. Training, materials, repeatable for now, never again. Though I gotta say, it looks pretty. Sort of looks like the snow's melting at the end of winter and the vegetation's starting to come back. It's pretty pretty. There's also some liquid water here that isn't frozen over. It behaves the same as normal water, no having to be a water ice type or anything. Pretty basic. Ferret, if I could have any Pokemon as a pet, it would be you, and I was saying it before it was cool. On floor number 4, there was a Kecleon shop containing a tiny Reviver Seed. I think I'll pick that up because we've been burning through a few of those lately. An Oranberry, definitely been using those lately. A Geopebble, definitely been using those lately. A Totter Orb, makes all enemies in the same room confused for a while. I really hated to see that end. I thought it would be really cool if it was all those items. I'll take an apple. Oh, my inventory's full. Revive All Orb revives all your fainted teammates, but once you go to the next floor, you won't be able to revive any teammates except for the main one. That's 400, and that's a pretty powerful effect. Let's toss this. Pick that up. Wait, what do you mean toolbox is too full? Oh, it threw one of them. That's kind of dumb. Drop it. Thank you. No, not that. Revive All Orb. Thank you. 631, you got yourself a deal, Keki. And that is all. Just 4 floors of pure unadulterated training. What? Isn't this where we started from? I guess that path we took just loops back to where it started. Looks like we have to get through Frosty Forest to move on. Chamomile, let's do our best. Ready to roll. We're going for real this time, the Frosty Forest. Now, I don't know if this is the case for everybody, or if this is just the case for the few instances that I've seen. Oh, our Geopebbles are the only throwing items left because we've been eating through this stuff like a southerner eats through butter. We're gonna take that. TMs. I found my first TM on the ground recently. I was told by other people that they didn't find a single TM on the ground until the fugitive section. I don't have any way of proving that that's where you first are able to find them, but I thought it was interesting. I think maybe I'll eat both of these apples just as a good pick-me-up. Kinda sucks that we're just barely under 100. But without using up any of our resources, we can just consume those and have 115 max belly for the time being. No sense using those max ethers, though. We'll just chuck a Geopebble at you. A lot of data about this game is actually unknown on a programming level. There hasn't been any successful data mine of it yet because I guess it uses a different file format. For those that don't know, this game was programmed in Unity. For those of you enthusiasts that use Unity to make your own creations, sometimes some AAA studios do it as well, and this is one instance of it. Granted, I do think that if there is one issue that this game has, it's lack of optimization, and I do kind of wonder if that comes from using an outsourced engine that they weren't familiar with, but you know, that's just kind of me nitpicking at this point. If I can bring up what I mean, just with greater detail, there's the Geopebble. Oh, I didn't need to use that. I thought you were one space away. What I mean by that is, okay. I like the visual style that we have going on here. I've said that I wouldn't trade it for the world, that no matter how realistic they would try to make things, I don't think it would be as good as this, and this is absolutely the kind of visual style I'd want out of a mystery dungeon game. I stand by that. What I don't stand by is the fact that we acknowledge that this is not the most impressive visuals in the world. There's plenty of games that look nicer on the same hardware, games that go for more realistic styles. This console's able to run things like Breath of the Wild, The Witcher 3, albeit with some texture resolution lowered a little bit. It can run Skyrim, it can run all sorts of things. And I definitely don't think that every game needs to look as good as those because there is something to be said for styles. But my issue is that this game runs at 720p. The videos that you're watching only have a 1080 mode because of my VFX being in 1080, and thus I, don't want there to be anything weird caused by, something not rendering right or perhaps a font not appearing correctly. That's the only reason for that. This is 720p, and it's locked at 30 frames per second. I don't have a problem with any of these things individually. If that's just what you need to do to get your game to run well, then that's fine. But that's where the problem comes in. The frame rate struggles to keep up, often. Even when it doesn't even seem like there's that much going on screen. There'll be times where in fights, just randomly when using moves, suddenly the frame rate tanks, even though the move doesn't really have a whole lot going on with it. I can't really know when it's going to happen because it seems very inconsistent, but that's just sort of the problem that I have, is that it is inconsistent. You see it so often, and I don't think it should be a problem, yet it is. I kind of feel like that if you're gonna go with a visual style like this, it's fair to expect it to not have those sorts of problems. Willow gets a level up. 25. I'll do better now. Trying to learn agility. If this were the old rules where that made it so that we can double attack a lot more often, I'd go for it, but this is not, so therefore it doesn't have a place in our moveset. Now, if I can kind of divert into some stories here. I had a story that I wanted to share about Mystery Dungeon, but I needed to let that wait for a second so I don't forget about this other one. That word that I just used back there, unadulterated. I didn't know what that word meant until last week when I watched a documentary on the Austrian wine poisoning. That was a word that I thought I knew what it meant for my entire life, and then I found out as the narrator was using it in that documentary that no, it doesn't actually mean what I think it does. This is really bad. Yeah, I can line up right here. I was realizing, wait a minute, that's not what that word means. Then he kept saying it, and I was like, wait, am I wrong? And I looked it up, and sure enough, I was. So unadulterated means that something isn't watered down, that it's something in its purest form. The first time that I'd ever heard it, and several times that I'd heard it, was watching Nickelodeon as a kid. In commercials, they would refer to their shows as pure unadulterated fun. And that's their way of saying that, their shows are awesome and that you're not getting a lesser experience and that you're getting, something really, really good when you're watching their shows. I thought unadulterated meant that they made sure that it wasn't rated for adults, meaning that they were telling you that it was watered down enough that kids could watch it safely. And you can see that unadult-rated. And every time I'd ever heard the word use, it just so happened to be in context when advertising like TV or a book or just something that could be consumed by kids like Harry Potter or something. And it's so funny to me that I just went thinking that until I was 30 years old. It really is true that if it doesn't have to do with Pokemon, then I don't ever know what anything means. Would you just die? You're a baby Pokemon! I can't imagine killing a baby is that hard. That's a horrible thing to say, and I will not go there again. Now, as for my mystery dungeon story, we don't have the ability to go back to previous dungeons. And I kept waiting for a good opportunity where we'd go back to Tiny Woods to do something so that I could tell this. Tiny Woods might be my least favorite dungeon in any Pokemon mystery dungeon whatsoever. And it's for a really stupid reason, because of course it is. I can't use moves. You can burn, please. So Tiny Woods. What I did when I played through this for the first time was I unlocked friend camps in the old version. They were called friend areas there. And I was thinking, great, I want to catch as many Pokemon as I can like I do in the main games. So I'm gonna buy as many camps as I can. I'm gonna go through all of them. And then just one by one, pick up all the Pokemon that I've missed in the 3 or so dungeons that we've done so far. I went through Tiny Woods, didn't recruit a single Pokemon. So I went through it again and didn't recruit a single Pokemon. And then again, and then again, and then again, and I never once recruited anything. I stayed there playing in Tiny Woods for over 2 hours trying to recruit just one Pokemon. I looked online and I saw that I had the right friend areas for the species of Pokemon that appear there, and they just wouldn't join. And I'm thinking, wow, this is awful. They made the recruitment rates this low? Like, how do they expect anybody to catch all the Pokemon in this game? It turns out that for some ungodly reason, they made it so that Tiny Woods is one of the very few dungeons where Pokemon have no chance of ever joining you, and nothing in the game tells you this. Naturally, with it being the first dungeon, I thought it would have the easiest recruitment rates, so I went there first expecting to get lots and lots of Pokemon. I'll be in, out 5 minutes, get all the Pokemon in it. Nope, couldn't do that. Someone has intruded upon the forest. The enfeebled flow of icy winds is the intrusion to blame. It must be stopped, for it is to protect the forest. Maybe I shouldn't have been telling my story loudly and with such passion as to awaken the spirit of the forest, but it annoyed the ever-living daylights out of me that I was there for that long trying to recruit Pokemon. Nothing in the game tells you that. And I was just stuck not being able to recruit anything until eventually I gave up, went to another dungeon, recruited a Pokemon in like my second try. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, is Tiny Woods just a place that you can never get it? And then I go on internet forums and I find a lot of other people that have the same experience as me. And I basically want to know if anyone else had that experience. Thankfully, it was fixed in DX where there's no such mechanic where Tiny Woods won't do that. I'm guessing a lot of people had the same complaint that I did. We'll go up. Gonna double slap you. I need to be doing normal type moves on rock type Pokemon here. I keep not doing it because I'm... Nice! A Mighty Enna statue! I always wanted one! Oh, man, now you just made him into a soggy dead wolf. How dare you. Yeah, it was just a really memorable experience that I had for all the wrong reasons. Stay away, Juan. Eat an apple. I'm level 27. We're getting quite strong. We'll go over this way next to find the stairs immediately. No Kecleon shops. I've been kind of hoping for another one just because they're good refreshes. Honestly, they feel like finding a Pokemon Center to me where it's just a good place to replenish supplies, maybe buff the HP up a little bit, replenish PP for moves without using up any real resources. It's great. As someone who is not able to do any shopping for themselves and are on the run from the law, I very much appreciate Mother Nature's design decisions. Very thoughtful of her to consider people like us. Very considerate for the people who might be responsible for destroying you. And I think with us making it far into the frosty forest, it's music time. Good point. We've needed inventory space quite badly for a little while now. One tiny reviver seed can go. Maybe I don't really need a totter seed. These are such cool looking designs, and I haven't been able to find these pictures anywhere on the internet because no one cares about Mystery Dungeon because they're stupid. I'm sorry, I have strong feelings about this. Internet coverage for this was very hard. I'm not throwing shade whatsoever. I have a great deal of respect for this website, but Heart of the Frosty Forest, quite a name you got there. Cerebi Joe, the person who runs Cerebi.net. Cerebi.net is usually the premier source for any information and anything Pokemon. He's personally not a fan of the Mystery Dungeon series, and that's okay. I understand it. You're not gonna like every single facet of a franchise as big and expansive as Pokemon. For instance, I've heard the manga's really great. I can't really say that I've read that much of it, but I hear it's fantastic and one of the most underrated aspects of it. Meanwhile, I like the TCG, plenty of other people don't. So I understand. Not everyone's gonna like everything, and I'm sure it can be a real pain in the butt to 100% these games and test out so many things to do all the coverage on it that he does. He himself said he wasn't that into covering it, and I understand. Mistakes happen. One thing that affected this a lot was the learn sets not being accurate, usually just copy and pasted from previous games. Works in 99 out of 100 cases, but I found, well, okay, I didn't find all of these cases though, Marriland did, and he told me about them. A lot of the cases that we found to not be accurate were the starters, and I consider that very important, because they're the strongest Pokemon there are, and we had to do some sleuthing to find out what their learn sets actually were. The problem that I've been running into, it was so hard to get reliable sources when working on this without testing things myself or, getting someone who had the game to test something for me when I couldn't test it myself. Because so many other sites that are not Cerebi.net will blindly copy and paste that information and just repost it as their own constantly. And I was finding the same consistent mistakes in practically every guide because of this, where people weren't going in-game and testing stuff out and using their own original research. It was really annoying, and it was a problem that I hadn't really had before this point because this is a newer release, and thus I guess information just wasn't really as consistent because of that. Again, I'm not throwing shade at Cerebi at all. Everybody makes mistakes. I more so have issues with people just blindly copying information and not looking into it, because a lot of my information had to be extensively tested because I just couldn't trust a lot of sources after a while once I realized how many things were inaccurate because of that. And on top of that, Cerebi.net does correct some of its things over time. These other sites just don't care enough to because all they care about is getting the clicks on release dates. It's a surprisingly big problem with recent game guides and not something that I ever realized, because usually if something was just inaccurate, I would find out about it when I did it wrong and figured, oh, this one guide is wrong, but when you're trying to cross-reference stuff, that's when it gets hard. I'm gonna grab this Oranberry. I always find it really funny how the Oranberry is called that because it's, based on an orange, but it's blue in color, so it just comes off really awkward in the English language. Come on over. Come on, don't be shy. I'm just gonna freeze you to the bone! If he's got bones, that's awfully redundant given that his skin is made of rock. Kinda makes me think he'd have an exoskeleton like an insect would. Oh, it's beautiful. I sure have traveled far into this forest. I think we'll be fine if we can get through this part. It shouldn't be far. Let's keep going. Huh? Chamomile, did you say something? I didn't think so. I thought I heard a voice. I must have imagined it. Turn back. You may not pass. Who's there? You are forbidden to pass. If you persist in trying to pass, then so be it. But only after you have defeated me! Oh, it's too bright! The ice around us, it's reflecting this light! I am Articuno, the Warder of Ice. Those that enter the forest I shall destroy with all my might. Let us begin! Completing the Trinity, it's Articuno with some dangerous moves that are ice type and can lower the speed. Starting off, what do we do against bosses? Why? We Sleep Seed, chuck it right in the gullets. Nice. We're gonna do a Dragon Breath right there, or Willow is, I guess. Going for the quick attack, attacking from a distance seems pretty safe. Blizzard, it might not be as effective here as it's not able to freeze ice types. So instead, yeah, we'll go for Double Slap. No need to use Charge Beam to charge up, we'll just do that. Dragon Breath again. Ice Shard. That's a move that is able to attack both of us because of its larger size. Got 3 Blast Seeds, let's eat one of them. Boom! Not type effective, but it was pretty spicy. Powder Snow. Thank God that's not a room-wide attack. It also has the capability of freezing, albeit rarely. Double Slap, ha! Or ha, Double Slap for greater accuracy. Ice Shard again. Wow. Good thing I have Tiny Reviver Seeds. We gotta be immobilizing this thing. Its attacks are way too powerful. Let's go for an Attract. We'll use the Oran Berry on Willow. We know that Willow can take 1 hit from it at least. Using Mists, stats won't go down, okay. Not that I was going to debuff you anyway, but good to know, I guess. No more Sleep Seeds. We've seen that Petrified doesn't tend to last very long against bosses, so I'm gonna go for another Blast Seed for some guaranteed 100 damage. No having to rely on luck with Double Slap. And then we got Powder Snow again, 32 damage on me. Double Slap again. Good. Still standing, still going for it. Icy Wind, oh boy, okay, that's dangerous. I got 1 Oran Berry, gonna use that on me. One quick attack, another Ice Shard. Let's go for 1 more attack. I think we can do it. No double attack, and I get something this strong. Oh boy, Oran Berry it is, it's my last one. We're gonna be relying on Tiny Reviver Seeds to save us from here on out. Come on, Dragon Breath! Yay! What a thing to say when defeating a god. Please, Articuno. We have to get through no matter what. Please let us pass. No, I cannot allow your passage. Why? Why can't we pass? The frigid forest's air. It has warmed considerably in recent times. Warmed? I'm still freezing, but... The flow of frigid air has been disturbed in the forest. Snow has started to melt. Snow is melting. Snow that has never melted before. This has never happened, even once. Then you appeared in the forest. Is this not your doing? We don't have anything to do with that. It's a coincidence. Please, Articuno, listen to me. It's not our fault that the snow is melting. It's not just here. Right now, natural calamities are occurring everywhere. The forest's frigid airflow would have been disturbed even if we hadn't come. Is that all? You expect me to believe that? Ah! Enough of your foolish talk! Prepare for your end! Stop it! Absol! There is nothing false in what they said. Calamities are indeed occurring in nature everywhere. Is that true? Yes. I have the ability to sense natural disasters. The calamities taking place now are of a special nature. I've never experienced such before. So there are calamities besides this. Fine. I will choose to believe you. You may pass. Articuno! However, you must try to prevent the calamities from spreading. I'm counting on you. Yep, we promise, Articuno. Phew, that was too close. Thank you. You saved us. Rather than saying thanks, focus on stopping the calamities before they worsen. If they are left unchecked, worse will befall us. My instinct warns me so. I sensed the terrible power of the natural calamities. I was led here by my feelings of foreboding. I think it would be best if we combined forces. I will join you. Huh? You will? Really? Really. To put an end to the calamities, cooperation is vital. Let me lend you my powers. Thank you, Absol. You can now access the Darkness Ridge camp and... Absol! Not so hopeless anymore. About time we found another team member. This is a great partner. He can get Swords Dance and Brutal Swing to attack enemies in a circle around himself for some strong, strong damage. Double Team raises evasion, and this has a lot of potential when linking with other moves. We've yet to recruit a strong Dark-type Pokemon. Fits like a glove. Whoa, it has the rare quality Squeeze Out! I don't want to watch you use that on anybody. We made it through better in one piece. We gained a piece. Next time on Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, we see what's next for our heroes. See you guys then.